happening? It's real late in LA, and this is the Life and Times Network, episode 24 of The Fight. Now, shine bright like a diamond. UFC 302, Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. Now, we start the card off, the main card of the main event with Randy Brown getting a third round decision UD. The fight was back and forth. He maintained distance. He got some nasty knees in. He reversed the nasty sub position in this rounds 2. I couldn't believe it, man. He really turned the bad situation into a good one. He started to piece him up in the round 3 and really started to make the distance between him and his competitor as far as who was winning the fight. He's going to be challenging guys up there in welterweight. I can't wait to see what he does. I hope he gets into the ranking. Just the reaction to the fight, it was a back and forth fight. Both guys are savvy. His opponent did some damage to him and took him down in the round 2, which was really to toss him up round if you don't want to give him any points for threatening subs when he didn't get the choke. But then he reversed it as far as Randy Brown. He reversed the sub position and really turned it around on his opponent and got that third round UD. Just to rate the fight 1 out of 10, I have to give it a 7. It was right in the middle for me. I thought who was going to win won, and I hope this guy has a great career, and I hope everything goes well. The fight. Now, we have Nico Price, all right? He pieced up his man Alex for 3 rounds. There was something going on with the conditioning. There was something going on with the fatigue. I think he also was coming back from cutting weight twice. This is the second time. I know fighters got to make money, so I'm not going to give him any shame for taking this fight. You know, it's a lot that goes on to this sport and a lot you have to take care of inside and out of that octagon. So shout out to both competitors. Nico Price takes his second win against this opponent. The first one he lost because of cannabis, and now cannabis is legal, which is ridiculous. Weed does not enhance an athlete's performance at all. Now, just to rate the fight, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. It was a rock'em sock'em back and forth. They're landing heavy shots and trying to finish the fight. Now, if we're talking about finishing the fight, we have Kevin Holland. He gets clipped early in round 1 and is down at almost for the count. But his opponent got careless, got his arm caught up in a crazy armbar, and he refused to let it go. Okay, he could have tapped. He could have just got out of there. He said, "No, break my arm." And Kevin Holland said, "Okay, I'll break your arm." Shout out to both competitors. That guy is really tough for just not. I don't know if it's tough or dumb, right? Like in that situation, you just tap, right? You tap, you live another day. Like the recovery on your arm, UFC moves very, 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 very fast. Life and Times Network. The fight. Now, Kevin Holland says he's the greatest gatekeeper. I think he has real skills to pay the bills. He needs to pick a division and stop going up and down and really make a path for himself. He is a great guy. Heavy hands, slick jiu-jitsu. I like to see him against anybody. He's a top-tier competitor. And just to rate the fight, I have to give it a 10 out of 10 because that armbar was fucking ridiculous. He broke my man's arm. He wouldn't tap. So there you go. Now, we had Sean Strickland versus Paula Costa. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think Paula had the reach, nor the power, or the lack of care after he's been clipped and knocked out to just go forward and bang with Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, he acts like a brawler, but he's a very, very, very savvy technician. Probably the best hands in his division besides Izzy. And I still would say he has the best boxing. He just picked him apart with the jab. He started getting loose and free come towards the end of the 5th round. But honestly, if he didn't do that last flurry in the 5th, it could have been a pick 'em round. Costa run the 4th. Who do you give 1 through 3 to? It was early on. People both were going tick for tack. It could have been an issue far as the cards. I'm glad Sean Strickland got the nod. But far as his style, if the guy doesn't pick it up, he's going to always have these bad cards. It really comes down to taste and damage landed. And he did both, but like some judges just have bad taste. Now, far as the fight, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I just knew that that's what was going to happen. Like Costa did take some risks, he did land some shots, and he did do what he was supposed to do. But I knew he didn't have enough to beat Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is one of the best guys in that division, and he's probably next in line for the title. Now, speaking of the title, we have Islam versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Now, Dustin has a history. Dustin has a historic career. He's bled and paved the way a lot for the UFC crowd. He's a fan favorite. He's one of my favorite fighters. Shout out to Dustin Poirier. He took Islam to 5 rounds and he didn't stay down until he got choked out. Now, this is the first time we've seen Islam push to this level. I think he'll become a greater fighter because of this. I think he could have relied more on his wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and subs, but he decided to go out there and try his hands with one of the best boxers in UFC. Shout out to both competitors. Dustin looks like he wants to retire. Islam says he wants to Armand. I think both things are great for the sport. And that was one of the best fight nights I've had in a while. I mean, after UFC 300, we're trying to recover from the haze of it, right? A night of spectacular fights top to bottom. I don't know if we're going to get that, but we got as close as we fucking could tonight. Shout out to everybody tapping in. This is the Life and Times Network. The Fight. Now, Conor versus Michael Chandler is up next in June. UFC 303 is on the way. I cannot wait. Every weekend, I get a little too drunk and I bet a little too much money, and I still come here to talk to you guys. Have a great night. Tapping in. The Fight.